how about we try an idea where instead of kids being the audience, why don't we have a flipped situation where children can be the writers and we take their ideas as seriously as if they were Ibsen or Shakespeare, and give the writer at age 10, 11, 12 the experience of seeing their idea realized on stage.
I was just having a normal school day, and then my teacher just came up to me and was like, Liliana, can I have a talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. I thought I was in trouble. Like, I was freaking out. I was like, oh no, what's going on here?
I thought it might have been because I'm good at that, but then I thought maybe it was because I wasn't, so it kind of would open more doors for me in a way. I've never written outside of school unless it's homework or in a diary.
I see stuff and then I want to write about it, but then I think about it, but it doesn't really happen because I want to write, but then writing at home, who wants to do that, right? So
if we have students sitting with mentors and doing the writing, any idea can be developed into a story if it is talked about enough, if you question enough, if you allow kids to really explore the ideas and make connections.
I really wanted it to come from the student. I found it really difficult to not throw ideas and suggestions, and I really tried hard to make sure that they were comfortable with me so that they would feel comfortable with sharing ideas.
it was sort of like unrealistic. Like, you would never think you'd have an actual author that's gone so far come and help you with your story. I sort of thought, oh, you've got to do this by yourself, you're not going to have like other people help, and you're not going to meet these people. And then this sort of happened.
The real guide that we gave to the mentors was, no matter what the idea is, just go with it. As soon as the idea of pranking, let's see, grinning now, this is how I knew we were onto something. As soon as the idea of pranking and jump scares and MJ went together, I could see the ideas really start to form in your brain.
We were sitting in different spots of the library anyway. We were sitting down and we were just going through the ideas and coming up with things, and we just sit there laughing, not speaking, over something so stupid.
Cracking jokes, laughing a lot, and then we'd look down and there was pages of scrawled writing.
So a lot of it was just trying to keep up with it and write it down, and then at the end of that day going, okay, so next week have a think about where we'll go from here.
Mentors were just there to guide rather than teach and tell, and I think the children got to steer the ship. They were in control of what they wanted to achieve.
Well, usually I start writing a story, then I get bored, but with this play I kept thinking new ideas when I couldn't get to sleep. So I just kept thinking of how it could turn out, what I could add to it, and that kept me going. Because when you're at school, you don't get to get all your ideas down, and you can't finish it in the time you are given. But when you're given a long time, you get to get all your ideas down, and it becomes this one great thing. I have my mum and dad listening to what I have to say a lot of the time, but it felt more especially good with David because you had to pay a whole bunch of attention to what I was saying. I mean, because sometimes when I'm saying stuff to my family, I mean, they listen, but they're just like, oh yeah, he's saying something.
Because it was like a fun experience altogether, like through the pressure of needing to hand it in time, it would feel like really accomplishing if you did hand it in time.
So it was interesting to see every writer and every mentor go through a different sort of process to finally come to the point where a story had not just developed completely, but developed into the form of a stage play.
After the mentors and the playwrights had completed their 10 sessions, they had to give me their scripts. They had to hand them over, and I then passed them on to the Leader Theatre to commence rehearsals.
It was kind of scary because you didn't know how it was going to turn out, and you didn't know what things they were going to add and how it was going to all evolve into a play.
I was really keen to get them. I couldn't wait to get the scripts really, because I just wanted to see what they were going to be like.
11 plays and almost 11 different genres. You know, we had some horrors, we had straight comedies, we had a few that were just I wouldn't call them dramas because there wasn't a lot of conflict, but it was just that slice of life style of theatre.
Yes.
And those ones had a lot of subtext, which surprised me.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know any of these kids or where they came from or anything. So I wasn't thinking of them as children. I was just looking at a script and saying, how am I going to say this line, and how are we going to block this scene and so on. So I think if you've been in theatre for quite some time, if you're given that brief, it's a script, do it. You do it. And I was very pleasantly, not surprised, very pleasantly encouraged by the fact that I could actually bring my actors' training to these scripts because they were solid enough to warrant serious consideration.
Originally planned for a single live theatre performance, the COVID-19 pandemic changed the direction of the Mighty Playwrights project for the better. Unable to be performed in front of a live audience, the Leader Theatre Company instead performed the 11 plays to a professional film crew. The filmed performances now create a permanent record of the powerful journey our Mighty Playwrights took from imagination to page to stage.
Well, I think it's actually better now because now I can keep watching it over and over and over again, and it's not just a one-time thing, so I can keep watching it.
Hold if you like, and then just hit spacebar when you're ready.
Enjoy!
Fun!
Hello there, travellers of the outside. I'm Fairy the Fairy.
I have a child's house for you to go to.
Really, Santa? But we've never been to a child's house before.
There are rules after all, Bolthracker, and you should know that better than anyone.
Are you sure you can handle them? We have had problems with previous nannies. Our children are very mischievous.
What's that horrible noise?
Princess!
Okay, Ninja and Toots, do you think you could try and sweep up the broken plate? Rocky, you go tidy up the pantry.
I'm the toughest 94-year-old on the planet. Too right you are. Woo! Oh, my back.
I have to uphold my reputation.
Yeah, right. You can steal a berry off a tree.
I was your dance teacher when I was alive, and you were the naughty little boy who wouldn't do what he was told.
That is wonderful.
That's great.
That is unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Oh my God. What do you think? Yeah, that's good.
Basically, a story of what happens in our house. Like it's uncanny.
Funny.
The resemblance, Abby.
Yay! Wow, that's good. That's good.
That was hilarious.
One of the things that I loved the most about it was that the children involved were being called playwrights now. You know, I think when children are young, there's so much talk about what they're going to do one day when they're older and that sort of thing. But, you know, they're all those things now. You know, they're authors now, they're illustrators now, they're artists now. So to have this kind of program that celebrates that, for me, that was a really important point, you know, and I think it was lovely to refer to students that way.
I feel like I'm more capable and determined to get it out there, because like with this, like I've done it now, and so I can do it again.
Seeing a young person who's got lots of ideas and lots of creativity, and it's a real blast when you know you can bring it out of them, and but at the same time say, this is yours, you know. All I'm doing is facilitating this. This is actually yours, you know. And for them to go, oh wow, look, I've done something really good, you know. I've actually done something. I've completed something. Like, it must be great. I would have loved to have this when I was in year 5, you know. I mean, who wouldn't, you know? It's just great.
Yeah, it's taught me a lot. It showed me that my writing has actually been noticed, and it's actually it's actually something that people like to read.
I felt like it was important because I could talk to someone and I could share my thoughts and feelings, not just on the play, but like we'd get off topic as well. But the play felt like it came from both of us, and that felt good to have a partner that just really made it happen.
One of the things that really drew me to wanting the Mighty Playwrights project to happen and wanting the library to be involved was the understanding that these young people, these playwrights, would have this fantastic opportunity to have their voices really heard and to have their stories and their thoughts not only heard but recorded and understood.
You can probably remember in your own childhood, anybody can, when there might have been an instance where somebody, possibly somebody who's much, much older than you, takes one of your ideas seriously, and it has a massive impact.
To think what it would have meant to me to have someone, not just one person, but then have that whole process really take me seriously, and to have me think about what I can contribute to the world. I think the potential there is boundless. I think, yeah, that's inspiring. That's really, as I say, it's hard not to get emotional to think about the potential of that and what it means to an individual and the different sections of the community. Once again, how even though I'm thinking about it from the kids' perspective as well, for me, that privilege of hearing from different people, like I think that's a great honour to be able to understand the world from a different point of view.
That sort of feeling that once upon a time, an adult, somebody took me really seriously, and it didn't matter what I was saying, it didn't matter what story I was telling, I was heard, I was understood, I was taken seriously. I think knowing that that's a possibility and knowing how to go about making that happen is really powerful, not only for kids but for adults as well, and has absolutely lifelong benefits.
Yeah, it has so many ramifications. It really has. I don't know what's going to happen to these 11 young children, 11 young people, but I reckon they're going to be mighty people later on, just by being part of this. And if we could do this for another 11 mighty playwrights or mighty songwriters, well, it's just, there weren't examples like that when I was a kid. You know, children were seen and not heard, and now children should be heard as well as seen, you know, I think.
I just think it's a great thing, and I hope that this is kind of like the pilot in Australia. So I really hope that this can keep going and spread to other places in Australia. And it's really great that's the first in Goulburn, you know, like little old Goulburn's got this amazing playwright mentoring program for young people. Wow, these sort of things usually happen in the city, you know. not in the bush.
Oh, well, look, I think that the regional community, it's really important to offer high quality opportunities in the arts for everybody.
Possibly, it could become something that is a real institution here in Goulburn. Because now it involves not only the schools and the library and the theatre, but soon when people see it, it could involve other organizations or individuals. Or it could spread out and become something that takes on its own sort of life in different locations around Australia.
I think the concept can be, well, it could be global if you want to think big. It really could be, because it's involving, I guess, working professional people, working one-on-one. I think that's really unusual to have that one-on-one experience with, professional people.
So I would love people to see this, people of all ages to see this and say, if they did that, then I could certainly do something else. Whether that turns into a book idea or just journaling or something creative, songwriting, writing plays, more storytelling with your own kids.
How did it feel though to be the boss and tell the actors what to do?
It felt great. It felt great. I wish I could be the scriptwriter of my family.